Hey, it's Dan and Randip for another video, and this time we got a special treat for you. We're bringing back something we used to do on our radio show. Real or fugazi? What's a fugazi, you ask? It's something fake. It's something that's not real. If you're a Donnie Brasco fan like I am, Dan, I know you are as well, you'll know the reference. In the NHL world, is it real or is it a fugazi?
You got to really lean into it, though, Randy. Come on, it's a fugazi, right? You know, it's
Fugazi. I'm trying my best with the New York accent here. I don't know if I'm getting
the good example would be the Buffalo Sabres, their early start to the season. Are you believing in it? Is it real or is it a fugazi? Well, I mean, the Buffalo Sabres, even they know they're a fugazi right now. So that's the premise of the video. Real or fugazi? We'll bring you a couple of topics and we'll decide if they're real or fugazi. And you can always let us know in the comments below. We'll have the debates after the video is posted.
Well, let's get going on this. Let's start with Jack Eichel. There's rumors that Vegas and Calgary, they're on the 1 yard line with the deal for Jack Eichel. Who would Jack Eichel do more for? Vegas or the Calgary Flames, Dan?
I think it's the Vegas Golden Knights. They are the real here. They need Jack Eichel because of everything that goes on with the Vegas Golden Knights. They've got so many injuries right now. Of course, Max Pacioretty, Mark Stone, William Karlsson now is out on the IR with a broken foot. They need that talent. And they even needed it going back to last year. They needed a top line centerman. That's why we've always been mentioning Vegas in this conversation with Jack Eichel. They are the team that absolutely needs him. And I know, you acquire him today, maybe he's back in 3 months' time. You don't know where you're at in the standings at that point, but I think Vegas is good enough, despite their recent performance in Toronto, to at least tread water and get to a point where there may be 500, a little bit above 500. Jack Eichel comes into your lineup, and all of a sudden you're pushing towards the playoffs. I don't think Vegas ever realizes their potential as a Stanley Cup contender if they don't eventually land a number one center. So that's why Jack Eichel, they need him in Vegas and more than they do in Calgary.
Okay, the middle of the ice is a weakness for the Vegas Golden Knights. Chandler Stevenson, good for him that he's been playing first line minutes the last couple of years, but he's not a first line center. We know the powers are on the wings there in Vegas, especially with Pacioretty and Stone when they're healthy. Those are the guys that drive play. Those are the difference makers. It hasn't been the centerman. So does Vegas need them more than Calgary? He will definitely do more in Vegas because they lack at that position. The one thing I'll say about Calgary, though, is, and I know folks in Calgary do not like me for this because I've been saying it since the season started and even before.
You think the Flames are a fugazi is what you think?
I think so. I don't think they're going to stay at this level of scoring at the very least. I mentioned in the last video we talked about the Flames is that regression is coming, and we've started to see a little bit already. What's going to help them down the road? Having a star end, first line, legit superstar center. So if you make a move there, you address that weakness down the middle. And what's a good thing about the Flames right now is that everybody is playing so well that trade values for some of those players have shot up. You take this for your advantage. You make a power move. While I understand it'll do more for Vegas, that's the real part. Don't sleep on Calgary on this, because if they're dealing from a position of strength right now, they could make a real strong move. And in a couple of months, if Eichel's back and he's playing for the Calgary Flames, watch out for that team because they'd have a legit centerman. Question for both of these teams: what is the price?
Yeah, and cap dollars might be a little bit easier for Calgary to figure out. And also, if you're the Flames, you're probably saying to Matthew Tkachuk, who's up for a contract at the end of this year, if we had Jack Eichel, maybe this is our duo for many, many years to come, the two faces of our franchise. All right, we'll move on to the next topic. He was the rookie of the month in Detroit. Moritz Seider, the right shot, big German defenseman for Detroit, off to a great start. 8 assists already on the season. Real or fugazi, Moritz Seider for the Calder Trophy?
I really like Moritz Seider as a player, but I'm going to say fugazi because defensemen, for the most part, it's very difficult to win that award. And I know most recently some have, but when you've got high-flying wingers that are going to eventually, start picking up the points, and we look at, whether it's a Lucas Raymond or look across the league, those are the players I'm going to be gravitating towards as the season goes on. Moritz Seider, should be. This kind of reminds me of the Charlie McAvoy conversation a few years back, where we know that defenseman was an important one. He was a key player, but do they end up winning those awards? They get love, but do they get the ultimate respect? I don't think that's going to happen here with Detroit. I think with Moritz Seider, he's going to maybe be one of the best players out of this class for sure. Looking down his career, I love his game, but we know voting goes towards offense and consistent offensive production. The question I have is, can Moritz Seider continue to bring that through an 82 game schedule? Probably not. And that's why I'm leaning towards one of those forwards instead.
It's really a pretty interesting rookie class, right? Because we thought Cole Caulfield was going to be one of the guys, and he's in the AHL with the Laval Rocket right now after a slow start to the season. He was the Vegas betting favorite. I think Moritz Seider has been so good that voters are going to be forced to look at more than just the points conversation. I think it's real. Moritz Seider could win the Calder Trophy this year. He has been that good. And if you really dive into some of the numbers, he's been at least look like one of the better defensemen in the league on a Detroit team that we know has been in desperate need of a player like him. So yeah, I could definitely see, like, does he win it? I don't know if I'll go that far, but I could see him being a finalist with the way that he's played so far this year.
He's in the convo, but what do we know? We know voters dig the points, voters dig the goals, and that's generally what happens here. But hey, good luck to Moritz Seider. I'm not banking on it, but he should be in the discussion at the end of the year if he keeps it up. Absolutely. The kid has been on fire. All right. The next one we have, real or fugazi? McDavid and Draisaitl combined for 300. Yes, I said 300 points.
Randip, this is a fugazi, man. Like, why you got to do this to me? Edmonton is already all over me because of our recent videos. Now they're going to come in the comments and say, I hate Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But 300 points is just, it's 300 points. It's just too unrealistic. We haven't had a 150-point player in the league since Mario Lemieux. And I know McDavid's point pace was there last year in the 56 games and his 105 points that he had. But 300 is just too much. Are they going to be able to have their power play going at a 50% clip all year long? I want to believe in this. And I do think McDavid can get to 150, but the Draisaitl part of this, I think McDavid is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in that he's going to have to get to a crazy amount of points, like over 160 maybe, to make this work. I don't see them both adding up to 300 points. It's a fugazi. It's just too high a number. It's too high a number.
Oh, come on. All right. Last time you doubted Connor McDavid, and we had this discussion on this channel, it was, will he get 100 points? What happened? He got them. He put that up. We've asked questions about Leon Draisaitl when McDavid's not there. Will he produce? Leon Draisaitl has answered those questions. So the next question that we're answering, 300 points, can they do it? They're on pace to hit 170 right now. The last time every time we say no about these guys, every time we doubt these guys, they do it. So 300 points, it seems lofty. It hasn't been done in a very long time. Players haven't hit 150 points, let alone two of them in one season and on the same team. But if anybody can do it in this NHL, it's going to be these two guys, because you mentioned the lethal power play that they have could go down as one of the greatest ever if they continue, or even, they dip down a little bit. This is going to be a very, very good, potentially historic power play based on the weapons that they have. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Tyson Barrie is a damn good power play player. So they're going to rack up the points all season long. And then on top of that, you've got a run and gun team that is a one-man counterattack. And then you add Leon Draisaitl, who can pretty much shoot from any angle and score. Sign me up. I'm going to say this is real, because every time we doubt these two, they shut us up and they show us how impressive, and especially McDavid, how impressive he is. So a combination for 300 points, sign me up. I am all for it. It may be rather optimistic, but if anybody can do it.
It defies logic, Randy.
What do you mean? They're on pace to hit 170 each right now. And can they keep that up? They're playing new teams every single night, basically, which is, it's tougher to game plan against. It's tougher to game plan against. This isn't the Canadian division. They're not going to be running into Toronto 10 times in a year. This is a little bit easier to score. We'll see what happens. Hit us up in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Dan? What's real? What's a fugazi? Comment, like, and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.